I'll go ahead and nominate somebody else.
Yeah, please.
Draymond Green.
Okay, let's get this is the real spice because he's back at the training facility.
Or will be
after
soon.
Will be soon. He's been away from the team. He was at LeBron's birthday party. It's kind of the last public appearance we've seen from him. While he's been away, the Warriors have formed some kind of identity that is not exactly working perfectly, but it is something. The young guys are getting some love. The young guys on the team, particularly Kuminga and Moody, are getting looks as being effective and turning a corner. He would be. There are two parts to this. Number one, it would be such a seismic moment in like the book that will inevitably be written about this Warriors era for Draymond to get traded. And then it's also finding the right team that would be willing to do it and be willing to take on the Draymond risk. I can think of a couple teams, but
give them to me because I had a hard time.
I could see the Cavs doing it.
And he's going to play with Evan Mobley?
I think you'd be weird, but I think that's the way you'd like there'd be the real bet on let's get a real veteran tough guy to like lead us and we trade Jared Allen and keep Donovan Mitchell and like we're going to ride this identity. I don't think it's a great idea, but I could see themselves talking themselves into it. The Pistons?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one is almost too obvious to where I'm just like, no way.
What about Memphis?
I just think I can't imagine. Like, remember the thing about some of the bad teams is people were ready to write the obituary on Draymond's career during the season that Steph broke his thumb.
Yes.
Because of his complete misery in that situation, losing night to night, and his very noticeable lack of effort. And was out of shape and all these things. So it's like, yeah, okay, he's from Michigan. The Pistons could absolutely use an enforcer like that, but what version of Draymond Green are you really getting? You said Memphis? He has to go somewhere with shooting everywhere.
Okay,
so
here's the other one.
That's why it's the same with Cleveland. He can't play next to another big. He can't play with a bunch of questionable shooters. If it's not going to be with Steph, he really needs to be somewhere that can make up for the fact that he just doesn't even really do much outside of passing and screening on offense anymore.
The other one that also has a little bit of a shooting problem, but they could use an upgrade at the 4, and ownership there has a connection to the Warriors, is the Kings.
Yeah, that's the one to me.
Okay, sell me on it. I'm a little. Him and Sabonis together is really tricky.
Sure.
They're both really creative. They're both really good passers. They're both high IQ guys. But do they have enough shooting? Do they have the right infrastructure for him? And I also just I think any team that would theoretically do this would have to do some background checking on, is Draymond going to show up and actually buy into this, or is he going to show up and just blow this whole thing up in our faces?
Yeah, which is why Mike Brown being the guy to
that's a good shot.
That is helpful. I mean, the reason that
me forgetting Brendon, just me forgetting to be the guy to bring up Mike Brown and laud Mike Brown is like a real like shame on me
upset.
Moment here.
It's an upset on the pod.
That's tough.
I mean, yeah. Look, Mike Brown and all those connections you mentioned are exactly why these teams Kings and Draymond were linked in the offseason, right? I mean, this was the boogeyman that kind of probably helped Draymond get a better contract because they had some cap flexibility and allegedly a little bit of an interest in bringing him in. Now it would be obviously matching up how a trade would look. It would be funny to me if Harrison Barnes returned to Golden State as part of this, but Draymond only makes $22 million this year. So, you could do Trey Lyles and Kevin Huerter and some assortment of picks and get your way there. So, yeah, I know I'm kind of breaking my own rule by saying that he has to go somewhere with shooters all around him, but I think Sabonis' ability to be a playmaking hub would be somewhat similar to the, playing next to Bogut, playing next to Looney, playing next to Iguodala, Livingston successes that we've seen Draymond have, where as long as everybody has a high IQ and can move the ball, that can make up for having two non-shooters, and we know the Kings are going to have all three of the other spots be shooters. So it's, I think, survivable, and they absolutely could use his defensive intensity and more of a clear, identity, anything on the defensive end, and obviously that's what he's going to bring more than anything. So that would probably be if I had to pick a target, pick a landing spot for him. But I'm not sure that they can convince another team to do it. Even Mike Brown, even the Kings.
I also just think it's such a seismic thing to do that I think that team, and whether it's Clay, whether it's him, I think any of those three guys getting traded is just such a seismic thing that it's really hard for me to imagine it happening. Clay or Draymond being traded is a historical trade in the sense of what they've meant to that franchise, so that it's hard to imagine it for me.
Yeah, but they've also gotten much. I hear you on Clay, and a lot of people say that, but with Draymond, to me, it's like both times he was a free agent, it at least got far enough where it was a conversation of where else he might land and the possibility that he could leave. And the relationship between the organization and him, it seems way worse than between the organization and Clay. So I don't know if the Clay thing happens. I think his value is also pretty low, but I definitely could see it with Draymond. I think it's more, to me, about the receiving team having reservations than Golden State, honestly.
I would want, this would be the spicy one that would really, I think, set the internet on fire in a big way.
Yeah.
And I forgot that he was not making actually like that much money. Also, Bob Myers is gone, and maybe Mike Dunleavy's just like less emotionally tied to what's going on here. And if Steve
been
Kerr
there for
is,
a while
looking
though.
on, yeah, but I think the way that Bob Myers was talked about, and I just feel like there's a different energy there that maybe means the door is open. You know,